Hello and welcome to another of Mrs. C's Maths Lessons. So these are the answers for yesterday's algebra problems, okay? So number 1, x equals 1 and y equals 3, or x equals 2 and y equals 1. Number 2, x equals 2 and y equals 3, or x equals 1 and y equals 8. You should have both sets of answers. I'm just saying or because it is an is or. 3, x equals 6 and y equals 3, or x equals 2 and y equals 6. And number 4, x equals 3 and y equals 3, or x equals 6 and y equals 1. So back down to these bottom ones where there are more possible solutions than the ones I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you these anyway because these are the most obvious. Of course there are more solutions, but these are the most obvious, okay? X equals 13, y equals 1. X equals 15, y equals 2. Number 2, x equals 2, y equals 2. X equals 4, y equals 5. Number 3, x equals 3, y equals 1. X equals 4 and y equals 3. And number 4, x equals 5, y equals 2. X equals 6, y equals 5. Last one, number 5, well done. P equals 1, Q equals 3, or P equals 3, no it doesn't, P equals 4, and Q equals 13. Hope you did all right. Right, we are going on to order of operations today. It is lesson 21 and the title is Order of Operations in your maths book, or on your piece of paper. Wow, that's crazy. Let's get that line straight. It's so difficult when you have no ruler. Let's see. Make sure you use a ruler. Right, so order of operations. When you start to look at more than one thing that you need to do in a maths sum, it can lead to confusion because it can depend which order you do them in as to what answer you get. I'm going to show you that with this sum, which is identical, and show you the two answers that you can get. So there has to be some rules to make sure that we get the order correct in order to get the answer the same. So they are kind of universal rules, therefore we will all get the answer the same. And so if we didn't, there would be a variety of answers and it wouldn't really be very mathematical, because mathematics is yes or no, isn't it? Let me show you here. Right, so let's look at the two ways we could do this sum to see the two different answers. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 times 2, 2 8s are 16. So that is one possible answer for that sum, okay? Or you could do 3 times 2 is 6, plus 5 is 11, okay? And that also would be right. So can you see? So when you've got a line of maths like that, you need to have the order in which to do it universally ruled or recognised order every time, so everyone gets the same answer. Okay, so let's read out what it says. Therefore, in maths, the order we follow is BIDMAS. Now, you'll have heard about me talking about this before, and we have kind of looked at it a little bit over the year. Okay, but I'm now actually just going to do a day where we just look at that order of operations just to get it nailed. Okay, so BIDMAS is the order that we use. So we look at these initials, see what they stand for, and if we write that by the sum, it will tell us the order that we need to go in. So B stands for brackets, I stands for indices, D stands for division, M stands for multiplication, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. That is the order you do the sum in, okay? So you deal with your brackets first. Brackets like that. What's an indices? Indices is a power, okay? So say you had 4 squared. This squared here is the power of that number, and that is the indices. So what is 4 squared? 4 squared is 4 times 4, isn't it? So you deal with the indices after you've dealt with the brackets. 4 times 4, 16, okay? So the indices come before you then do division, multiplication, addition, and finally subtraction. So that is the order that you go in. Right, I've got a couple of examples here, and we're going to follow the BIDMAS order in order to solve them. Let's go. Right, so A, let's write BIDMAS here just so it keeps it in our mind as we solve these. 18 plus 4 times 7 plus 5 in brackets. Okay, so what do we do first? We do the brackets first. 7 plus 5 is 12. Okay, and then what does it say? Indices, there's no powers, there's no indices. Division, there isn't any. Multiplication, so let's write out the sum again. 18 plus 4 times 12. So this is the multiplication bit. So that's the next bit that we do, isn't it? So 12 fours are 48, agreed? Then what comes next? So what have we got left in our equation now? 18 plus 48. Okay, so that's going to give us our answer. 8 and 8, 16, 4, 5, 6. So the answer to that equation is 66. If you'd done it the other way round and done this first and just gone in the order like you would read it, you would get a completely different answer. So you follow the BIDMAS rules, okay? Let's do one more example. Looks like it's got a bit of a division in it. Then we'll look at a couple of examples to keep you right for the maths that I will set you, okay? So the B example is 10 plus 6 in brackets divided by 2 plus 3. Okay, let's go back to BIDMAS. B, brackets, we do that bit first. 16, would you agree? Indices, there's no powers, there's no to the power of 2 or to the power of 3. So we don't need to worry about that. Division, so 16 divided by 2 plus 3. So we look at the division next. 16 divided by 2 is 8, would you agree? And then all that's left to do is 8 plus 3, which is of course 11. Okay, got it? Seems fairly simple. If you follow the rule, you will get that right answer. Let us look at a couple of other examples and then I'll set you some work and I'll give the answers tomorrow. Right, here we go. So I'm going to go through a couple more examples just so you know where you are with the work that I'm going to set. Just going to go through this slightly more difficult example of what we've already looked at really. So using BIDMAS, order of operations, brackets first, would you agree? 40 minus 10, that's the first thing you do because that's in the brackets. 30, okay? So the equation now stands at 30 plus 5 plus 1 times 12, okay? So if you added 30 plus 5 plus 1, you'd have 36 times by 12. It's going to give you a different answer to what the order of operations tells you to do. Because, of course, if we go down here, indices, division, multiplication is what you should do next, okay? So it's that bit there that we need to do next before we come on to addition. Okay, so that's going to give us a different answer. 1 times 12 is 12, okay? So that goes in there, and then we just have a straightforward addition to do, don't we? 12. So 30 add 12 is 42. Add 5 is 47. Yeah, okay? So that would be a very different answer to the one if we worked it out the other way. But that is the correct way. Follow BIDMAS. Right, so these two are a little bit different and slightly more thinking about, okay? So it's asking you to place the brackets in the correct position to make the calculation correct, okay? So there must, of course, there's more than one way of doing this, but that is the correct answer, okay? So you need to put brackets to show what to do first, because brackets always come first. Let's look at both ways and see the different answers that we would get. Okay, so let's look at the wrong way first. 3 times 8. 3 8s are 24, aren't they? 3 8s are 24. Minus 5 is going to give you what? 19. Is that correct? So, you don't do the 3 times 8 first. That's not where the brackets need to go. So therefore, the other operation that we need to do is the 8 minus 5. So, well, let's do it just to make sure. 8 minus 5 gives us what? Oops. 8 minus 5 gives us 3. And of course, 3 times 3 gives us the 9. So that is correct. So the only thing we need to do is put the brackets around that to show that that's what we do first. We're satisfying the equation so that they are balanced. Let's have a little look at this just to make sure we understand what we're doing. Let's go with the wrong way first, okay? So let's look at 12 divided by 4. So let's just do that first. 12 divided by 4, how many 4s in 12? 3, isn't it? So 8 plus 3 is not going to be 5, is it? 8 plus 3 is going to be 11. Wrong way. So therefore, let's just make sure that the other way is correct. 8 plus 12 equals what? 20 divided by 4 equals, 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So therefore, the brackets need to go round there. Really, these are quite good sums to do because it shows you how important getting the order of operations is right to get the answer and the equation correct. Right, I'm going to set some out on the board, including some of these, and then I'll give you the answers tomorrow. Right, here we are with the questions for today. It might look a lot, but I think it is fairly quick work, so I think you'll whiz through it. Right, so these ones, you just need to use BIDMAS here to keep the order of operations correct to solve the number sentence, okay? These are quite interesting because there are brackets on these. These are the same equation, but of course you're going to get 2 different answers because you're following BIDMAS, okay? So they repeat themselves, but because the brackets are in different place, you'll get a different answer. So it's kind of proving the point that BIDMAS does need to be followed, okay? These ones here, you need to read this. Put the brackets in the correct place to make the calculation correct. So there'll be a right way and a wrong way. Which bit do you need to do first to get that answer? Okay, that bit or that bit. You don't follow this, you just do both, and then you bracket the bit that you do first, like I've just shown you, to get that answer. Okay, so a bit of trial and error to work out which part needs to be bracketed to make it come first before the rest. Good luck. Remember to like, turn on post notifications and subscribe.